Welcome to Madison HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association. We're joined by women's soccer head coach Dave Lombardo for the weekly Coaches Show. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we had another split weekend this weekend. We had a great 1-0 overtime victory at Maryland on Thursday night, and then we had a disappointing 2-1 loss to La Salle yesterday. Talk about both of those games.
Yeah, I mean, they were in many regards very similar. The Maryland coaching staff is probably walking away from that game going, we should have done better with that in the first half. And, what we tell our kids is you got to play for 90 minutes. And they were all over us in the first half. I think they generated 9 corner kicks in that first half and didn't really come up with anything. But, our defense was pretty stout, and, we bent a little bit, but we didn't break. And that kept us in the game. Second half, I thought played pretty well. I think it was pretty even in terms of the run of play. We had a chance to win it in, I think, the 87th minute. Allie Bunner kind of took a long-distance shot that rang off the crossbar. So momentum was starting to build in our favor, and we got I just think, a great goal again from Ashley Herndon in the first 3 minutes or so of overtime to ice the game. But, that turned around on Sunday with us against La Salle. We played, I thought, a very strong first half. We actually even got the go-ahead goal. I don't know how far that was in, maybe 25 minutes or so in that. And we looked like all we had to do was manage the game. Well, La Salle had other ideas, and they got 2 set-piece goals against us in the first 4 minutes of the second half. We did not come out focused in the second half. We were a little lackadaisical with our defending, and that created a corner kick that they scored off of. And then 2 minutes later, we ended up challenging hard for a ball in the box. PK, now we're down 2-1. For me, the disappointing part of this was how we reacted to that. I think we got flustered. We were playing in kind of panic mode when, from the sidelines we were telling everybody, hey, we got 40 minutes. Let's just get one. You get one, you're back in the game, you're calmed down, and then you can find a way to hopefully get that second goal. So that part of it was the first indication for me from this season that our maturity and leadership didn't really step up to the plate the way that we have in the previous 7 games. So, we take away from that a learning experience. We have 2 more. We finish off our non-conference schedule this week with Richmond and Marshall. And, if we can win both of those games, you go through the stretch of games that we had, 10 games, we go 7-3. That's a very, very productive front half of our schedule. So we're trying not to keep our chins on the ground. I think all this week is going to be about rebuilding and refocusing and rebounding off of that result, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think it can definitely be tough to go from such a high with that overtime win at Maryland to, something that you didn't, not the result that you wanted on Sunday.
Sure.
How do you go about sort of finding that middle ground again and finding that, the even keel?
Well, you have to keep things in perspective. We're disappointed we lost to La Salle, but if you look over the last 4 years, La Salle has been the top team in the Atlantic 10, and I expect them to be that again this year. So that, in the big scheme of things, if they do what I think they're capable of doing, that will be a loss for us, but that's not going to be a bad loss. If you're losing to a team that's ranked 280 or above in the RPI, well, then that's a bad loss. That's not going to be La Salle. So, we're going to cheer them on that they go on and have a great season, and hope we get a chance to see them further on down the road. But that's been our message ever since I've been here. We don't get too high for a win in the middle of the season, because all it is winning a game. You didn't win a championship. You didn't win a conference tournament. You didn't get an NCAA bid out of that. You won a game. And that's what we expect them to do. So, and conversely to that, we try not to get our chins on the ground if we lose a game. We weren't beaten so much as we contributed to that loss yesterday, and I think we know we could do better with that. And I think the maturity of our upper class kids will figure that out.
Yeah, a major bright spot this weekend was Ashley Herndon scoring goals in both games,
Yep.
But we've talked about her a lot this season because she has been standing out. Have there been any players where maybe they don't get the accolades, and they've been really performing so far this year?
Well, so much in sports is driven by statistics, but if you look at beyond that in terms of what they contribute to the game, Sydney Brown-McLeod has been pretty effective about being a wing forward for us. She gets down into the defensive third, our attacking third of the field, and creates problems for them. So I think she's been a pretty steady Eddie. Most of the time, we'd like to see her start contributing more into the offensive statistics part of all that. Alyssa Halleck has been just solid in the back for us. Jenny Soroba has been very solid in the back for us. We have 4 shutouts in the first 8 games of the season. I think we only had 4 shutouts total last year, and a lot of that is Ellen. She's played well for us, but a lot of that is the defense has really limited the number of chances. Yeah. So I think right now we're playing well in all thirds of the field. We just need to get more productivity out of a couple of other kids from the offensive side of it. As I told you the other day, between Ashley and Allie Bunner, they've got 10 of our 16, 15 goals. Yeah. We need some other kids to step up and be able to sort that out, spread that out, because what's going to happen and what is happening right now is Ashley's getting a lot of attention from the best markers and sometimes double teams on other teams. If they can close that down and nobody else picks up the scoring slack, then we become a pretty one-dimensional and easy to beat. So I think our kids will figure that out.
Gotcha. And then you did mention that this upcoming weekend you have a chance to rebound against Richmond at home on Friday, and then at Marshall on Sunday. Talk a little bit about those matchups going in.
Richmond is Peter Albright is my best friend in the business, and we know each other team like we know our own team. They had their way with us last year. It's always a very competitive match. It's always, most of those games are separated by 1 goal usually. But they had their way with us last year. We lost 4-2 down there, and there's a lot of kids on the team that remember that game, and I think they will be motivated for that. Marshall, we've only played twice. We've beaten them both times 2-1, but right now they're having a career year. I think they're off to a 6-1-1 start, and that's a good solid team in the Conference USA, and becomes hopefully a road win that would be important for us to take. So Kevin Long does a great job with getting his team organized and competitive, and that's certainly not going to be any walk in the park either.
Gotcha. Well, Friday night when Richmond comes to town, there will be a Vuvuzela giveaway to the first 50 students who show up. So we look forward to seeing you at University Park. Coach, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
Good
Nate.
luck this weekend.
All righty.